Welcome back to my series of James Bond reviews. I have a playlist of my James Bond reviews down in the description, so if you want to see the previous installments, you can go check that out. And today we're taking a look at Moonraker. So Moonraker is a weird film in the Bond franchise for many people. A lot of critics liked it. It has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, but apparently not a lot of audiences liked this movie and they thought it was too silly and dumb. But I don't, because I think Moonraker is a very good film, and I also think it's the second best Roger Moore film that I've seen so far. The best one right now is The Man with the Golden Gun. And overall, this movie's just a total blast from pretty much start to finish. There are a couple of slow scenes, but overall, this movie is just really fun and entertaining, and that's all I kind of want from a Bond film. So let's just get started about why I really like this movie. Let's start off with the action. The action in here is great. This movie has some of the best Bond set pieces of the whole franchise, and they still hold up today. There is some green screen that doesn't look great, but I wasn't really expecting it to, and it does look quite a bit better than I was expecting to for a 1979 movie. And this continues the trend of the Roger Moore action. It's very tense, and this one's actually nerve-wracking now. The tram scene where they're fighting Jaws is like one of the most nerve-wracking scenes I've seen in a James Bond movie since The Building Climb and Diamonds Are Forever. And also, this movie has non-stop action for the last 40 minutes. For example, there's this big ambulance fight on like a hill, and then a few minutes later there's like a giant boat chase, and then a few minutes later Bond is fighting a snake. And it was just kind of different for a Bond movie to have non-stop and thrilling action, because we're just kind of used for this movie's action being spread out, but this movie doesn't waste a single opportunity to have a cool action sequence, and that's very appreciated. Next up is the silliness. Now, I haven't been a huge fan of the silliness in Roger Moore's movies or James Bond in general, but surprisingly, this silliness in here is actually great. They somehow took The Man with the Golden Gun and The Spy Who Loved Me silliness and actually made it work. There are some scenes that are so dumb that you're rolling your eyes, but you're also rolling them with a big grin on your face. And without a doubt, Jaws is the best at delivering the silliness. Richard Kiel just did a fantastic job in this movie. And some people that thought Jaws was really menacing in the last movie might not like it, but I think this really fits Jaws, because we knew he could survive pretty much everything last time. So when he falls on top of a circus tent and survives, we don't question it, because he literally survived a shark attack in the last one. And it's just a really good running gag that Jaws practically can't die. It's just really fun. But now, while we're on the topic of Jaws, let's talk about his girlfriend. I think she kind of delivers the silliness as good as Jaws. While she doesn't have that many speaking lines, she's still a good sidekick for Jaws, and they work so good together without practically speaking to each other. It's just very fun. And another thing is that I was also super happy when Jaws sided with James Bond. Even though it was only like the last 15-ish minutes, it made for a couple of great moments. So overall, I don't know how it happened, but the silliness really works in this movie. And if you embrace it like I did, you're probably going to have a great time with this movie. But this is where we get to the bad stuff about this movie. And there's only really one thing that stood out to me that was not good, is the Bond girls. It's kind of like Thanos would say, a soul for a soul, because on the one hand we have a lot of great silliness, but now we don't have as good Bond girls. In my opinion, Manuela is the only genuinely good Bond girl in this movie, and all the other ones are pretty forgettable, and they also don't move the plot as smoothly along as the other three previous Roger Moore movies. But overall, Moonraker is a very, very fun Bond movie, and I can see myself revisiting this movie quite often. It's also very underrated, and if you're a fan of the Roger Moore movies, I do suggest checking this one out. So overall, I'm gonna give Moonraker a 7 out of 10. And the reason for that is because while it's certainly fun, I gotta put my foot down because this is not a masterpiece. Guys, thanks so much for watching. You can check out my other channels linked in the description. Also consider checking out my new Letterboxd account. I have a new one now. I couldn't get back into the other one. And also check out the James Bond playlist if you want to. But anyways, that's all for now, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. It's electric.